उपज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed from chapter 2, last verse. ऐसा ब्राह्मी स्थिति पार्थ नयनम प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थितवस्याम अंतकाले अपि ब्रह्म निर्वाणम इच्छति. So this was the last verse of second chapter where Lord Krishna explained that is the way of a spiritual and godly life after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So the way of a spiritual godly life uh, in essential points has been explained by Lord Krishna himself in the second chapter, and more detailed discussion upon this point will be made gradually by Krishna when Arjuna will ask various questions. So today we are starting with third chapter, Karma Yoga. So in the first chapter, Arjuna he declines to fight, giving so many reasons, all logical, reasonable, and scriptural reasons, but based on bodily concept of life. And then finally, Arjuna he became confused, stressful, disturbed, mentally disturbed because of feeling excessive attachment for his kinsman. Then he finally decides to surrender unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, accepting Krishna to be his spiritual master, not as his friend. Because friendly talk uh, cannot help a person to actually progress in Krishna consciousness. Because in friendship, we may accept some suggestion and we may reject another suggestion of our friend. So Arjuna could understand this, that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, though he is acting out of his kindness, he is acting as my very dear friend, but he is actually the Supreme Lord. He knows, he has perfect knowledge. He can guide me perfectly to come out of this miserable situation of life, which uh, I have got entangled into. And so, Arjuna, accepting Krishna as his spiritual master, he said, Sisyastyaham sadhimam tvam prapannam. I become your disciple. Please, sadhimam, please instruct me. What is yes, Shreyasyan Vishritam Bruhitan me? What is best for me? Please instruct me. So Krishna, being very kind, immediately he took the position of spiritual master and started to explain the philosophy of uh, this spiritual realization, self-realization. So first of all, Krishna spoke that, my dear Arjuna, first of all, you understand you are not this body. You are completely different from what you see, what you think, and in what ways you are addressed in this material world. So you are not a kshatriya, you are not a man, you are not this body, you are not your mind, where you feel so many things. You are completely aloof from all these things. You are a pure spirit soul my eternal part and parcel. And then Krishna explained the difference between matter and spirit. And then Krishna also explained and which consciousness you should, while remaining in this material world, and which consciousness you should perform your duties, prescribed duties. If you perform your prescribed duties, considering it to be your dharma as a kshatriya, then you attain pious credit by which you will be promoted to heavenly kingdom. But if you perform your prescribed duties, surrendering the results unto me, by this process you will gradually become conscious of me. And in this way, when your consciousness is completely absorbed in me alone, at the time of you can attain me, at the time of death, thinking of me, you can attain me. This is called Buddhi Yoga. So, and those whose consciousness is fixed at me are always working in this Buddhi Yoga consciousness. So then Arjuna asks question, my dear Krishna, what are the symptoms of persons who are situated in a transcendental platform? Then Krishna very beautifully explained the last section of the second chapter, the most wonderful section in the second chapter, that how a person who is actually fixed in pure spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, he gives up all material desires as soon as it enters into his mind, and he remains fixed up in activities of transcendental consciousness, that is Krishna consciousness. So in this way, he concluded this chapter. So now, so although Arjuna heard all these discussion very attentively, but for the benefit of all of us, Arjuna is going to ask some questions so that Krishna may kindly elaborate all these teachings in more detail so that we can very clearly understand means what we are exactly supposed to do so that we can progress in the spiritual life. So this third chapter begins with Arjuna's question, inquiry regarding what is best, uh, acting, performing some material activity, or renouncing activities and understanding the philosophy or the knowledge of the self. So that's why Krishna explains this thing. And this chapter is known as Karma Yoga, means in which consciousness one should perform karma or activity so that he may not get entangled. So Arjuna Vacha, first verses, Arjuna is asking this question. I think first and second verse, yes, Arjuna asks his doubt. So Arjuna Vacha, Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tat Kim Karmani Kore Mam Niyojayasi Kesava. Arjuna said, O Janardan, O Keshav, why do you want why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruity work? Yo Keshav, O Janardan, Jayasi Chet Karmanaste. Jayasi means better. Chet means if. So, my dear Krishna, if you think that Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata means you consider Buddhi. You consider, if you consider to act on the platform of Buddhi, because in the previous chapter, Krishna in one of the verses says, uh, uh, Duren hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. My dear Dhananjaya, Duren hi avaram karma. Remain far away, situate yourself far distant from avaram karma. Avaram karma means ghora karma. Here Arjuna is asking, karmani ghore, the same thing. Karmani ghore means ghastly, ghastly warfare, ghastly action, and avaram karma, abominable action. Abominable means uh, condemned actions, not acceptable. So Arjuna, because he couldn't really uh, he couldn't really understand uh, that fighting for the fulfillment of Krishna's desire is actually his dharma or his devotional service to Krishna. So he thought fighting to be an abominable action. It's not suitable, a violent activity. Though Arjuna was a great warrior, but still, because he was a great devotee, so he had this softness within his heart. He never wanted to hurt or kill anybody. So that is the nature of a devotee. Um, the more one advances in Krishna consciousness, the heart of a devotee must melt down after seeing the uh, means a miserable condition of any living entity, not just human being, any living entity. Human being, we can easily connect, uh, but apart from human being, the symptom of a advanced person or symptom of a gentleman is that he can experience the pain or miserable situation of any living entity, even a small ant. If it is hurt, any gentleman would feel the pain that the ant is suffering. And what to speak of this, even trees and plants and creepers. Once, when Srila Prabhupada acquired this Hare Krishna land Juhu, so devotees were planning to construct the temple. So they made the this what you say structure, naksha, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, the chart for preparing. So uh, so there were many trees, coconut trees, and some other trees also. So according to their design, uh, it was supposed means it's expected that many of the trees will be cut. But Prabhupada said, no, you cannot cut these trees. They are also living entities. So you must design uh, the building of the temple in such a way that minimum number of trees may be cut as minimum as possible. You must try for this. So, so then they redesigned it very nicely. And we see uh, in our temple courtyard still these two trees are there. And Prabhupada never allowed devotees to cut it because that is what a devotee feels, uh, that any living entity, if it is hurt, the devotees feel the pain. Similarly, Arjuna, being a devotee, he considered this fact that uh, if this battlefield, if he fights in this battlefield, so many people are going to be killed, violent activity, and the consequent result will also not be good. So he considered this fact. That's why he thought of fighting this battlefield as an abominable action. Because Arjuna thought just for the sake of getting a kingdom by which I can have sense gratification, so for the purpose of my self sense gratification, why should I incur so many uh, means a miserable situation, so much pain? Why should I give so much pain to so many living entities? So this was his consideration. So he considered it to be an abominable action. And whereas and Krishna also, while instructing Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, he said, Turena Yavaram Karma, that you give up this abominable action. So Arjuna thought, Krishna has instructed me that I should give up abominable action, and this fighting is an abominable action. And Krishna told Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya, using your intelligence, fine intelligence, you should give up, you should avoid abominable intelligence. So he, after hearing this verse, Arjuna became convinced that Krishna is not supporting this fight. But again, then Krishna in another place, Krishna requested that get up and fight. Uh, Uttistha Parantapa, uh, you fight. So Arjuna became confused. That's why he's asking this question. That Krishna has spoken in two ways, and Krishna has given this two Vyamishrena Vakya, equivocal instruction. His intelligence became bewildered. That's why he's saying in this verse, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. My dear Janardana, first of all, you said uh, that this buddhi to act on the platform of intelligence, understanding the consequence of result is better than uh, fruitive action, karma. Uh, then tat kim karmani ghorema. Then why do you engage me in this karmani, in this action, ghore, ghastly action, mam niyojayasi kesava. You are engaging me in this ghastly warfare. Why do you engage me in this ghastly warfare? So this is what is Krishna Arjuna's question is. So Arjuna is thinking like this. Krishna consciousness or yoga, buddhi yoga means something which should not means something that nobody should get hurt, nobody should get any pain. But sometimes uh, there is no gain without pain. Pains must be given. So this is Arjuna's understanding. He thinks that Krishna consciousness means no such activity is abominable activity. But for the sake of establishing the mission of the Lord, sometimes such violent acts are also required. That we'll discuss tomorrow after reading the purport. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, you can ask.
स्टेप है ना उसके लिए, भक्ति के लिए ऐसे कितने सारे वो होते हैं कि हम मतलब वहां तक पहुंच सकते हैं। अगर कोई कर्मयोग करते करते ही चला गया फिर
Doesn't matter. Karma Yoga is also Bhakti Yoga. Prabhupada writes later in coming verses will see it, will understand how Karma Yoga is also Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga means dedicating one's actions for the service of the Lord and also the results of one's activities for the service of the Lord. So that is Bhakti Yoga. But the difference is, means in Karma Yoga, the devotee may be attached to performing activities. So means he has got some attachment other than Krishna also. The Shuddha Bhakti Yoga means no other attachment, only Krishna. Not even performing a kind of attachment to performing a kind of activity. The devotee has to be attached so much detached from everything material. What not just this thing, the full, complete, pure devotional attachment to Krishna means a devotee is supposed to be detached from the detachment also. He should be detached from detachment also. If some devotee who is very much detached materially from all sorts of results, he is detached from all sorts of results, detached from all sorts of sense gratification, all sorts of person in this material world, activities of this material world, but he likes to be detached, means he is attached to the detachment principle. So that is also one obstacle. Krishna doesn't want this also. Within the heart, there should be attachment only for Krishnas. Then, like Sudama Brahmana, he was fully detached, no attachment for his wife, children, no attachment for acquiring money, no attachment even for maintaining his body. This is something ultimately very not very difficult. So he was so fully detached and completely attached to Krishna. But he was little bit attached to this detachment of his. So Krishna being very merciful, he freed Sudama Brahmana from this detachment also. Krishna made Sudama Brahmana detached from his detachment by giving him all the opulences of this material world, which makes person become fully attached. This is the beauty of Krishna's means activities, how he acts so wonderfully in the life of a devotee that the same opulence which a third class devotee like me, if he gets opulences of this material world, so a third class devotee may become attached to sense enjoyment, whereas so from such devotees, Krishna takes away all those opulences and makes him poverty stricken, makes him uh, means rejected in the society so that nobody can come and love him or become and can may become cause for his attachment. But the same Lord, when sees when some very advanced devotee is there who is completely detached, aloof from all material attachment, but in order to free such a devotee's heart from detachment itself, Krishna makes such an arrangement that he brings the devotee in contact with such great opulences where that devotee forgets the detachment also, and he completely uses all the opulences for the service of the Lord, and in this way he becomes completely perfect in serving Krishna. This is the highest limit of attachment for Krishna, and at this point the devotee becomes eligible to become an associate of Krishna. So this is our journey towards Krishna. But don't worry, if we sincerely depend on Krishna, sincerely practice what our acharyas have given us, the process of sadhana bhakti, then it becomes the duty of Krishna. Krishna takes his own responsibility to free the sincere devotee from all kinds of material attachment, from all kinds of detachment, and fully make him attached to himself. That's why Krishna is the most perfect, most expert deliverer of living entities from this material existence. That's why King Kunsekar he prays Sri Vallabheti Varadeti Daya Pareti Natheti Nagashayane Jagannivasheti भक्तप्रियेति भवलुण्ठनको विदेति आलापिनं प्रतिदिनं कुरु मां मुकुन्दा. So in this verse, King Kulsekar says, Bhaktapriyeti Bhavaluntanako Videti. Bhavaluntanako Videti means he is expert deliverer of his devotees, sincere devotees. That's why in all situations we should sincerely pray to Krishna and take shelter of his lotus feet by chanting his holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The more intensely and attentively and with eagerness to develop attachment for Krishna, a devotee chants his holy name constantly, incessantly, the more one becomes freed from all material attachments and all desires for sense enjoyment, and he perfectly becomes situated at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's why we should try our best to chant as much as possible with intensity. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.